Hey, so there's no tweak today because the devs are actually busy no, not playing, making the game jam or taking part in the game jam 5 for old school RuneScape. This is something that both teams actually do in RuneScape 3. This also happens, and for this time it's for old school RuneScape. So because there isn't tweak this week, and well, I mean, I kind of want to talk about some of these things, so I'm just gonna go over the game jam concepts and I'm gonna just, well, ramble about them, give my opinion on them, share some thoughts. So yeah, I guess welcome to this ramble. And the first thing that we have is bingo, and I'm fucking excited for this. I know that it's not like the major content update or anything like that, but I think that first of all, bingos have always been incredibly popular, especially in the game, especially these past few years, right? Bingos are an incredible way to just get together with people, compete against them, but also get stuff done in the game that sometimes you probably wouldn't prioritize, and that's pretty cool, right? And given, or like at least having an in-game system, this is something that I think I suggested when I first talked about how to fix Yak Track from RuneScape 3 like over a year ago, I think. I talked about the bingos that the community usually does and how systems like those could actually be really great to have in the game, especially because you would encourage more people to log in and you would encourage more people to actually play together. And it's just a really social thing, right? Bingos usually involve other people, so there's this sense of community where everyone makes progress towards something, there's rewards for it. So having this type of system in game, something that people already do anyway, actually would be amazing. I know that Jagex is making an effort to make the game more social, especially the social skilling side of things and whatnot. This is fucking perfect. It's something the community has been doing for ages, so having it in game right away, it's just great. I think I honestly, again, like it's not the biggest content update, but it's probably the most exciting thing out of this entire list. I really want bingos in the game, and I'm pretty glad that this is being worked on. I think this is not the first time they're working on a bingo. I think it was Model that already showcased some stuff about the bingo, about working on a bingo on the spare time, or was it last game jam? I can't recall, but I know that I've already seen stuff about it. So it's pretty cool that they are going ahead and looking at the stuff in the post. It actually looks pretty solid already. Honestly, I really hope that this actually comes into the game. Again, like outside of everything, I think the bingo is probably the thing that I'm most excited for. It's so great. Again, social skilling, PVMing and whatnot with prizes. I think it fills all of the boxes of the types of contents that Jagex actually wants. Social plus encouraging people to do content in the game, alongside people actually making progress, with people being able to compete for it and getting rewards. I think it's great all around. And honestly, I think RuneScape 3 should just copy this system. Like once this system is in the game, RuneScape 3 should just yank it, because I think it's the type of system RuneScape 3 also does need. I mean, sure, RuneScape 3 is a bit more sweaty on that regard, but again, like I think bingos are the type of thing that people just sort of get into, even if they don't win or whatever. It doesn't really matter, you still make progress, be it for your max cape or your golden reaper title or your clue scrolls, and like you just make progress, right? I think it's a nice thing. RuneScape 3 should just yoink it. This is not even in old school, and again, I really hope that this one actually comes out, because it's pretty exciting to me. I have seen people and I've been around people that have made bingos. Unfortunately, right now, especially because I make videos, I'm not exactly the most active person when it comes to bingos, but I think it is the type of thing that it should be in the game, and I think it's really exciting. So I'm really excited for this one, and I really hope it comes out into the game. Next up, we have the POH customizations. Essentially, you get more themes and more items to just customize your player-owned house. It's fine, most of it is just cosmetic, and that's fine. Obviously, Fashionscape is part of the game, and I think that customizing your POH should also be part of it. Unfortunately, here I can tell RuneScape 3 to copy it, because fucking RuneScape 3 POH is a mess. Yeah, reminder, that was the game that had the fucking bug that led to the Falador Massacre. So yeah, in old school they reworked the fucking house thing pretty early on. That's why you can actually do all of this bullshit. In RuneScape 3 you can't, so I guess RuneScape 3 unfortunately cannot actually copy this. But yeah, honestly, I don't care too much about it. I think it's great that they are coming up with more customization options for players that do care about POH, but personally, I don't care. It's not for me, so regardless, if it comes into the game, cool. Like I'm not against it, but it's not the type of content that is for me, to simply put. Next up, we have bank loadouts. Essentially, these loadouts are kind of like presets in RuneScape 3. At the difference that they work a bit more like the plugin that old school RuneScape has, at least that RuneLite has, when it comes to the preset plugin. Because in RuneScape 3, the preset just instantly loads the entire preset, and here you would actually still, or at least like manually doing things would still be better and faster and more efficient, which I think we should actually do. As much as I love presets in RuneScape 3, I think they kind of ruin skilling in a way, because like it's a type of thing where any skill that needs a bank that you don't have a nice, or you can't create a nice preset for, just sucks. It feels such an outdated skill, and I think that's bad because skills shouldn't need a preset in the bank in order for them to be good to train or be fun to train, but unfortunately RuneScape 3 they kind of do, and I think it turned a lot of skilling into just this sweaty, really efficient, like going to the bank, one ticking your preset or what, or like two ticking, because if you one tick it, the preset just doesn't load and your bank tab closes. I don't know if that has always been fixed, if it has been fixed so far, but that usually happens quite a lot, where if you're too quick at loading preset, you don't actually load preset, the bank just closes. Anyway, I really hope that it's not like that in old school, and apparently, by the looks of it, it's not gonna be like that, or at least just, make it so it's purely gear loadout, as opposed of also working for skilling. Obviously, most of these is supposed to be gear loadouts, because that's kind of why presets exist, and it's great, sometimes people invite me to go on a raid, and then I'm like, shit, what do you use in Chambers of Xeric again? Like, I forget, like, what the usual inventory I carry and stuff like that, because, sometimes we'll just invite you to go on the things, you haven't done them in a while, so these types of loadouts can actually be really exciting. Again, these type of bank updates are really funny, because it's the same shit with placeholders. Ashworth in placeholders, in some game jam, I can't remember, but essentially, I think it was in his first game jam, he worked on the bank placeholders, and they are just this fucking tiny thing. They don't matter. Having bank placeholders or not having them doesn't matter. And yet it's like it completely changed banking. Like, banking without placeholders fucking sucks. Like, especially in RuneScape 3, when I ran out of Premier membership and I lose some bank space, because RuneScape 3 is fucking fantastic when it comes to this type of things. It's a fucking pain to have to bank shit and then, like, have your bank full, and then you can't keep placeholders, because if you withdraw the items, your bank is full and it's over, like, drafted, so it won't actually keep placeholders in it, and it's a fucking pain to reorganize it again. Man, placeholders completely, it's such a minor thing, but they completely changed the game, and I think that, systems like this, like the loadout, again, minor thing, but I think it's gonna completely change the game. Should it come into the game? Yes. Obviously, again, caution because of the skilling side and everything, but I think the answer is yes. Next up, we have some miscellaneous quality of life for different things. The first one, and probably I guess the biggest one, is improving the adventure path system. Essentially, it's the same system as paths in RuneScape 3, but these ones actually give direct rewards like GP and stuff like that, and some gear. So essentially, expansion plus adding other things like some quests and whatnot. I like it. I honestly, when Adventure Paths came out, I thought, oh no, like this is just sort of a soft beta launch, for them to sort of test how new players react to it, and then they're gonna like complete it, they're gonna add more stuff to it. No, they just sort of left it super bare bones, and I was kind of disappointed on that, because I was like, wait, you just added a system that, like, what? Why? Because that system just looked incredibly bare bones. So I'm glad that someone's coming in and actually, in a way, almost finishing it. However, I will say this, I really hope that these paths also do encourage people to explore the game on their own, because I think that I have played games like this, where the game just holds your hand throughout, it gives you continuous tasks for, like, do this, open this menu, and then, like, you do that shit for, like, hours. And then once you're done with all of that, the game just says, cool, now play the game. And you're like, the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, what? And I really hope that the adventure path system does not become the same thing. Because I think it's really easy for people to just follow it and then, like, eat that, okay, I've completed all of the paths, now what? And they feel lost and they just quit the game, right? Because there's nothing to do. They feel completely lost. They haven't actually learned anything. As far as I've seen, the adventure paths are very like just, oh yeah, get level 5 in this skill, and you sort of have to figure out how to get level 5 in that skill. So it's not as end-oldy as other games. It does encourage that exploration of all you need to do is get level 5, but you sort of need to figure that out yourself, and you need to explore the world around you to figure that out yourself. So I think it's good, but again, much like the previous thing, I think it can be really good, but I think it needs to be approached with caution to a certain degree. The next thing would be improving the agility shortcuts. So the shortcuts that are one way have a swapped color palette to showcase that they are one way. I don't even know why this isn't in the game yet, and why it's a game jam project. This should just be like in next week's fucking patch notes, because like it's pretty impactful, like especially once you like sometimes you don't know what the shortcuts are, and you don't know like if you can use them both ways, if it's a shortcut that you haven't used yet, especially. So I mean, I don't even know why it's not in the game yet. Then we have improving NPC reset behavior. So NPCs that are outside of combat that have been attacked by other players, and then like they just leave combat essentially to reset faster to full HP and whatnot. Again, I think it's fine, especially I guess it helps Iron Man. Although I will say I don't know if there's any niche thing where some players kind of abuse this sort of mechanic for getting low level kills of certain NPCs and whatnot. Especially when it comes to like fight caves and whatnot, that might be an issue. I don't know. So again, it's one of the other things that is like tread with caution. Next up, we have improvements to the chat. So it shows actually which chat channel you are about to send a message, and I guess it updates dynamically or something. I would have to see this one in action, because I mean I guess it's a QOL thing, but yeah, I don't see the purpose of it too much, because you can already like change channels and whatnot pretty easily. And then you have the bestiary system, which essentially it's a Pokédex system, right? RuneScape 3 already has a system where you have to sort of capture Slayer monsters for your player-owned dungeon, because RuneScape 3 has a Slayer dungeon. They can put your own like Slayer monsters and whatnot if you capture like their souls and whatnot. So it's sort of this bestiary Pokemon thing. Here it would be more about like killing them and using the monster examine spell on them to get like all of the information and stuff like that. I really hope that, first of all, this system like it just sounds really fun. I think it's the type of thing that players have done in the past, where it's like you just sort of go around Gielinor and you try to kill one of each type of monster to say that you've done it. So I think it could be a really good thing, but I really hope that is merely the type of thing that collection log right now represents, which is you have incentives to do a certain piece of content, and then there's an extra incentive of, like you can say that you did this thing for the bestiary or whatever, right? I think it's more on that regard rather than it having its own rewards or whatever. Again, if it's done just as a niche thing where it's like on the side and you can like have sort of a book of sorts, they can say, oh yeah, cool, I've killed every monster in Gielinor. Again, I think it can be kind of cool. Next up we have small islands, and essentially it mostly talks about deep sea fishing. Coming from RuneScape 3 and reading a lot of this is what already happens in RuneScape 3. So I'm gonna say I'm not very excited over it. It's fine, I guess. Like, it works in RuneScape 3, but it's the type of thing of, it just sounds like RuneScape 3 content. So to me, it's not very exciting, because I've already done it before. I already know how it works. It would obviously work a little bit different, but still, I already know how it works. But it's fine to be in the game, I think. It's a type of content updates that I'm not excited because I already played it in the other game, but I can see why it could be appealing for people that never done it before. So I'm not against it, but personally I'm not that excited. And then we have the collection log updates, essentially. First of all, a more detailed screen and a better like interface rework to like track your progress and stuff like that, with essentially being able to see the latest collections and everything, or the latest collection logs that you got and everything. And on top of that, you would also get ranks. And while I do like the rework and the look of the new, I guess, UI of it, and the what's it called? The interface. There we go. The new interface. I don't like the ranks personally. I think the collection log is the type of thing that is cool on its own. Like essentially, you have a piece of content, you have rewards for that piece of content, and then the collection log just serves as an extra incentive for it. Right? I don't think that we should have cosmetics that are exclusive to it. I don't think that we should have ranks for it and whatnot. Again, like that might work for leagues, but leagues are a seasonal game mode that you can actually go for points and stuff like that and ranks. Here, I don't think it's a good idea. I think the collection log should remain as a niche thing that people... I mean, it's not niche anymore. People love going for collection log slots and stuff like that. It's a huge part of the game at this point. But it remains this thing where it's like, it's an extra reward. It's like, I really don't want to do this piece of content, but there's collection logs attached to it. And then you do that piece of content, and then you get rewarded with XP, you get rewarded with GP, or you get rewarded with like the specific rewards for that piece of content, and you get rewarded with the collection logs. Right? Like, I don't think that the collection log itself should have its own rewards. Much like the bestiary, right? If the bestiary is to be added, I don't want the bestiary itself to have its own rewards. Other than just, bragging rights and saying that you did it. Personally, I mean, look, the cosmetics look cool, don't get me wrong. I think I've already seen the stuff somewhere as a concept on Reddit or something. Or I think someone sent it to me or something along those lines. I don't remember, but I think I've already seen it. Yeah, it looks cool and whatnot, but personally, I wouldn't want it in the game, right? Again, like, I don't think the collection log should have its own rewards in of itself. I think the collection log is an extra system that people use. But obviously, we wouldn't be done there, and then we have, the UI being resizable and stuff like that. You can move it around, just overall being more responsive. Obviously, really cool things that are expected of these things. And then we would have the ice scores. Not a huge fan, personally, but I think they're fine. People already compete, sort of, to see who has, like, most collection logs completed and whatnot. So I think it's completely fine. It's not the type of thing that I would go for myself. I don't think I enjoy... again, collection log is more of a personal thing for me. But I guess it's fine, You don't really gain anything other than bragging rights going for score anyway, so I think that's fine. And then lastly, the Iron Man exceptions, which is essentially... The collection log came out after Iron Man mode, meaning a lot of Irons essentially got a lot of items that, because it's untradeable, or because items are tradable, they didn't get registered in the collection log when the collection log was released. But because they're irons and they can trade, technically they did get it, right? And you can very easily, know that because they can't trade with anyone, so it's not like they can get items like that. So... this essentially would make it so people can actually have these items marked on their collection log, especially because, like, if I got all of items from God Wars Dungeon, why the fuck would I go back again as an iron, right? Just for the collection log? Yeah, no thanks. So these would make it so you wouldn't need to go back again because, well, I mean, how do you get fucking an armadillo crossbow as an iron? You can't trade, you would have to get it as a drop, so yeah. Again, it's a pretty cool thing, people have been asking for it, really good. Next up we have a deposition and reposition, which is essentially the bank deposit box revamp. The TLDR is it would have a better interface and you would be able to actually lock certain inventory slots so they never get deposited, because man, it's a pain. Sometimes you go to a bank deposit, you click the fucking little bag item to deposit everything, and then you're like, oh wait, no, I have fucking teleports with me, I shouldn't have fucking done that. So then you have to fucking, use the home tele and then go to the bank to just grab your teleports again. So again, this is much like the loadouts and much like placeholders. It's pretty much one of those things where it's like, it's a minor thing, but you will feel the difference once it's in the game. It's like, it feels like a minor thing because it is a minor thing, but when it comes to actually the impact that it has, it's a pretty major thing. These days, again, I'm pretty excited over it. I think it's like a really good thing, and I'm excited to have it in the game. I can't wait. Next up we have unrestricted builds. Essentially, it's about like quests, old quests, especially giving everything XP wise in lamps, which RuneScape 3 already does. So you can actually complete a quest without getting XP drops. This would be again like very useful for accounts that are restricted and can't get certain types of XP to allow them to keep doing other quests. that essentially, especially in the combat, so you don't actually get, you know, certain combat XP, so you can keep doing the quest without needing to, you know, finish the previous one, or like you would finish the previous one anyway, but you wouldn't need to like finish it by claiming the rewards. You can claim the rewards, get them as lamps, and then just destroy them. Yeah, I think that's fine, obviously. And then the quest requirement adjustment, which is something that again RuneScape 3 already had, pretty minor, but in the long term you can actually feel the effect, especially if you have a newer account. Next up we have content variety, which is mostly the 1 defense, Moons of Peril armor, and the PvP specific prayer book. I don't PvP, I don't care about this. Again, much like the POH customization, cool if it comes into the game, I guess. Personally, I don't care about it. And then next up we have bank filters, another bank thing. There's a lot of bank things in this one, and essentially you'll just be able to filter certain types of things in your bank, like, you know, the capes or amulets, tradable items and tradables and whatnot. So again, pretty minor stuff, but again, I think pretty major wise when it comes to actually just having these sort of systems, which it's pretty good, you know. I'm not that excited over it as I am with the 2 other bank things, but it's always pretty good to have these minor QOL things that are usually in these like systems, especially in banks and whatnot. So yeah, it's pretty good. And next up we have puffins, or rather we have 2 penguin quests, 2 new penguin quests, or what would be penguin quests. I always find it a shame that penguin quests weren't exactly like. Penguin quests are weird because a lot of them are very humorous, and sometimes the humor is a bit outdated. But who doesn't love a good penguin quest, you know? So yeah, I would want this in the game easily. And then next up we have the charges QOL update. So essentially, you have the corruption situation. So when it comes to things that are chargeable, but you have an infinite version of it, like the fucking bow, what's it, the bow of Ferdinand, yeah, there we go. The bow of Ferdinand that can be corrupted with 2000 shards. Essentially, what this would do is, if you use charges to charge your bow, then you would need all of them in order to corrupt it. So like, for example, if you use 500 charges, then you would only need 1500 charges to actually corrupt it. If you use 1000 charges, then you would only need another 1000 to corrupt it, because you technically already used, you know, 1000 charges and whatnot. The other thing is maintaining charges. So these would essentially make it so if you are withdrawing an item from a bank and you have the items to charge it, the item will just essentially automatically recharge. So it's essentially like an easier recharge thing, because yeah, it can be pretty annoying to have to withdraw the item and then check charges, and then, you know, withdraw all of the items from the bank, charge the item, get all of the items in the bank that you used to charge the, you know, it gets annoying. So pretty cool stuff. Again, super minor, but I think it would be really good. And that's ultimately, I think that a lot of these game jam things, that they're minor but they're really good. Next up we have mini menus, which, speaking of minor but being good, essentially these would allow to have a drop down menu when you actually select a thing. So if you select the Ring of Dueling, for example, and you have the Rab option on it, technically it opens a menu. This would make it so you only need to go down to the Rab option, and then it would have the menu with all of the places that you could teleport, and you could click directly to the teleport thing. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. And they would also change the Celepe thing on the Draken's Medallion to actually be above use, so use is not awkwardly in the middle. Again, pretty minor stuff, but I think it's pretty good quality of life update. And then lastly but not least, we have the trading card game update. So Mozzoni has been working on a trading card game, and yeah, honestly, looks pretty cool, but it's not for me. I don't really enjoy card games that much, especially not trading ones. I mean, technically I enjoy card games as long as they're not trading ones, more like. But yeah, I mean, look, it looks cool and whatnot. You can go and read about it and actually see all of the things. There's clearly a lot of effort put into it, but much like some things in this post, I don't care too much about it. And that's pretty much it. We had a lot of stuff in this post, and yeah, I'll see you next week with Twig, I hope, and I hope that some of these actually do come into the game, especially the bingo. Bring the fucking bingo into the game.